Cenk, November 2024. Right-wing populists, it's your job to prove the left wrong. Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, and Steve Bannon are going to become anti-war progressives who hold Trump accountable. 6 months later, Tucker calls for bombing Iran. Charlie Kirk endorses a $900 billion Pentagon increase. Steve Bannon launches "War is awesome, actually." Round 1. The Goalpost Relocation Project.
You predicted MAGA influencers would hold Trump accountable. Did that happen?
You're missing the real victory here. Do you not see the massive revolt happening? Tucker Carlson tweeted "war bad" for like 3 hours last Tuesday before deleting it. That's unprecedented pushback.
He deleted the tweet and then called for bombing 3 countries.
Exactly. That proves my strategy worked perfectly. Don't you see the brilliant 4D chess happening here? Either Tucker becomes a peace activist, mission accomplished, or he calls for bombing Iran and proves to everyone he's a warmongering hypocrite. It's win-win.
But your original prediction was that they'd actually hold Trump accountable.
Look, I never said they were going to successfully stop all wars immediately and turn America into a pacifist utopia in 6 months. That's a ridiculous standard. I said we'd have a fighter's chance on maybe 10% of issues.
You said they'd become anti-war progressives.
You're putting words in my mouth. I said some of them on some issues might possibly show tiny amounts of resistance before inevitably capitulating. That's totally different.
That's not what you said.
The fact that Charlie Kirk called Trump to apologize after briefly questioning a $50 billion weapons package shows my strategy is working. He had to apologize. That means there was pushback.
Steve Bannon just said if Trump wants to nuke Iran, MAGA will support nuking Iran. How is this holding Trump accountable?
You're not engaging with the data. I did a poll of the comments section on Charlie Kirk's YouTube channel, and 12% of commenters used the word peace in their usernames. His audience is in full revolt.
Those usernames were things like "Peace Out, War is Awesome," and "Peacekeeper, Nuke Iran."
You're nitpicking. The point is, they're talking about peace. That's movement. Also, did you see that Tucker Carlson's show ratings dropped 0.2% last week? The MAGA base is abandoning warmongers.
His ratings dropped because he was on vacation.
You're making excuses for him. Look, I've been on 47 right-wing shows in the past month, and every single host agreed that war is a thing that exists. That's unprecedented common ground.
Agreeing that war exists isn't anti-war sentiment.
You're not listening. Baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day. Steve Bannon said hello to me before calling for carpet bombing. That's progress.
Okay, guys, this is the Debate Me channel, and that parody might have seemed over the top, but here is the thing. Cenk used every single one of those tactics in the real debate, and let me prove it to you. So the evidence shows from watching the debate that he's obviously playing games. The tactic one that he used was goalpost moving. Cenk originally said MAGA would hold Trump accountable. When they didn't, he claimed a victory because it showed hypocrisy, he says. So that is not stupidity, that's deliberate redefinition of success. Now, tactic number 2 was straw man and victimizations. Krystal quoted his exact words back to him. His response, "You're making stuff up about me," right? Smart people don't accidentally mischaracterize their own statements, right? That's not by accident, that's intentional. So tactic number 3, cherry picking. So he ignored that only one Republican signed the War Powers resolution, right? He focused on Charlie Kirk's audience poll while dismissing broader Republican polling showing 70 to 80% support for the Iran war. That's selective use of evidence, not ignorance. I know you people like to think that he's stupid. He is not. He may not be a genius, but he's clearly playing games here. Tactic number 4, false conflation. When pressed on politicians, bending the knee, switching to talking about voters, right? He wanted to switch to talking about the voters. When pressed on voters, he switched to talking about influencers. This is a deliberate shell game. Wherever she tries to take the conversation, he tries to move it somewhere else to avoid being cornered and exposed. So, why does this all matter? Cenk is not stupid. He's been doing political commentary for decades. He knows exactly what those tactics do. They waste time, force the opponents to correct mischaracterizations instead of making their case. They confuse audiences, people lose track of the original point, they avoid accountability. If you can't pin down what someone actually claimed, you can't prove them wrong, right? Now let's talk about the gaslighting element, the most telling moment. When Krystal played his exact quote, Cenk says, "You're borderline lying about me." That's not confusion, that's gaslighting, making someone question their own perception of reality. Krystal literally plays his words, and he calls her a liar for quoting him accurately. The bottom line is, when someone uses this many deflection tactics this consistently, it's not an accident. Cenk made specific, measurable predictions. They failed spectacularly. Instead of acknowledging this, like an honest person would, he deployed a systematic strategy to avoid accountability. That's not intellectual confusion. That's intellectual dishonesty. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. These tactics show up everywhere in political discourse, from pundits to politicians to people arguing online. The parody works because it reveals the logical structure underneath the complex political language. Strip away the emotional weight of the Iran policy or Pentagon budgets, and that's not analysis, that's manipulation.